Hey, welcome to Culturised. It is me, Makani, and sitting across from me right now, May. I love these ladies. We haven't seen each other
forever.
Right?
Long time.
It's been a while.
It's been a long while.
You know it's been a while because the last time I seen you folks on stage, and now you got, it's funny to say as we grow up, now we're all professional, we have jobs, and we're adulting, which is really weird.
Putting the big panties on.
Putting our big panties on. Leikia Williams Maddalynn Ashton. Say your last. I always, even we were having a hard time. Are you still going by Maddie Ashton?
Yeah.
I'm going to call you Maddie.
Yeah, so my stage name is Maddalynn Ashton, but my legal name is Maddalynn Pasara.
I love it. And Lily, Queen Mother.
The Queen Mother.
How long have we known each other?
How long have we known each other? From, 92?
Holy moly.
92.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So we have been, and I wanted so much to bring you guys on because as Culturised, and we want to talk about different cultures, and sometimes people have a hard time, native culture, ethnic culture, but this is a social culture, the Mahu culture. Where'd you go to high school?
I went to high school. I went to Roosevelt High School, Rough Riders.
Hey.
Ride 'em rough.
Rough Riders.
And speaking of rough, I went to the west side of Oahu, Waianae High School. We're known for being, a little bit rough. I don't know why people are so scared to come west side.
People are so
when you
scared.
mention Waianae, I know like come. So
right.
It's weird. Yeah.
If with that said, if you had to tell somebody why they should come to Waianae, what would you tell them why?
I would say because the people, we have so much aloha there, and it's just don't mess with us. You mess with us, I'm sorry, it's over.
So if you ever go into Waianae, just drop their names if you're going into Waianae.
Yes.
You can drop Maddie's name. Any place on the island.
Rough Riders. So you grew up Papakolea?
I grew up in Paoa Valley.
Paoa Valley.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. What was that like growing up in Paoa Valley?
Lies and being deceitful up there. No. I'm only playing. No, Paoa Valley was a very, very beautiful valley growing up, and it was very homely. You know, a lot of families up there. And especially for trick or treating during October time.
Yeah.
That's the valley everybody would come to.
But also the gym where everybody plays volleyball.
The gym where I was founded. All us Muffies always playing volleyball.
Is that what you're?
Of course.
Grew on the west side. Where did you grow up?
I grew
Nanakuli, Waianae.
We grew all over on the Waianae, Maili, Makaha.
West of the power plant.
From place to place, it was a little challenging growing up, but I would say my childhood was fun. We played in the background. We played with our neighbors. Just being wild, just going inside the what is that? Our backyard was like all core wood. It was all bushes. So that was our background, and so that was our play field. So growing up was fun. It wasn't until probably going in high school then you notice certain things, and it's a little bit different. So
because we are a culture show, as we continue on. So again, if you're joining us here on Culturised or on our YouTube, don't forget to subscribe or comment down below. We're sitting with Leikia Williams and Maddalynn Ashton, and of course we're a cultured show. So I have to mahalo you folks for taking time, and because the CDC says in this time we have to present leis this way. Okay, so that is for you. Mahalo for being here and making time.
I love it.
I know the whole kupu,
Thank you.
Maddalynn, mahalo.
Mahalo.
And anything you want to do with those, you can by all means. Now, talk about growing up, and let's start with Paoa Valley.
Mm-hmm.
What was it like? Okay, so obviously, when did you know? When did you know you were Mahu?
I think I knew I was a girl from when I was young.
Yeah,
from when I was young, I always wanted to be a girl. Going from, I honestly say, so I'm from Paoa Valley, but I actually we was living by this apartment, 1764 Pali Highway, right on the corner. So it was in a corner, but so across of us, there was this house, upstairs, downstairs house, and there was growing up, there was always these beautiful ladies that I would always see go back and forth out of the house, So growing up later on in life, realizing that these beautiful ladies was actually my beautiful Mahu aunties. So that actually kind of triggered me from when I was young, because I used to watch them get ready. Back in the day, they used to have this nightclub called the Glades, and that was where all of our aunties come from. So in that house, in that complex house, a lot of them was entertainers from the Glades, as I did not know, right? So it was hidden from me.
How old were you at the time?
My gosh, I probably was like second, third, fourth grade already, and just seeing all of that in front of me, seeing them get ready, I used to see my one auntie, during the daytime, she's always in the yard doing all these rough butch things, and then at night she's coming out as the most glamorous woman in high heels, so that right there actually just kind of like made me, just admire them even more, made me want to be like them,
Bringing you what matters. Viewers can receive the Star Advertiser Digital Full Access subscription for just $9.95 per month. Go to staradvertiser.com and click on subscribe. Use the code AHIGHTHING. Aloha Termite and Pest Control, your local and leading pest and termite control solution in the state. Always providing you superior service with Aloha. So you're like third or fourth grade, and you're seeing these queen mothers, these aunties at the time. You had no idea.
Mothers.
Did you have an idea of you just seen them, like you just said, they'd be doing the butch things, cleaning the yard, and then at night they'd come home and
at night they're getting ready to be glamorous ladies, and I would see them leave their homes in taxis with these high hairdos, and they're going into the taxi like this, trying to get in, and I just used to be so amazed, like this little child watching all of this, and of course you pick up from the adults, growing up, you pick up that's no longer your aunties. What, really? Oh, what, and then more clicks to me, right? Oh.
So did that help with your confidence?
I think it helped a lot with my confidence, because I just seen all of them, just being around them, they was so confident, they walked around with pride, they never put their head down. Head was always held high, Sometimes they call it high makama bahani, when your mahu is always high to the heavens,
Was it similar in the West Side, in Nanakuli, Waianae? What was it like growing up, and when did you know you were mahu? Not when you accepted it, but when you knew.
Well, I think I I knew something was different when I was young, because I didn't like doing what my I come from a family of four brothers and two sisters, so I didn't like going outside as much. I didn't like doing anything dirty or anything like that. So I knew something was different, because I thought my siblings were all weird. At one point,
they were weird.
Yeah, when I started, getting older, I thought they were weird. So I knew something was different, and then it wasn't until I went to the salon with my mom, and so happened, she's like, come with me, because she didn't want to drop me off at home. She said, I have this hair appointment. And so when she sat in the chair, I just saw all these women, and so I didn't notice anything until they started talking. And it was the Mahu language, and I'm like, what? I'm like, what is it? And I'm just sitting in the chair, and I'm just like, I'm so mesmerized. Hey, there's not ladies. This is, what is this? So I'm listening, and so ever since that day, I would tell my mom, every time she had one hair appointment, Mom, I'll come with you. I can come with you. And I would talk with them, and those ladies, they knew. Right. They knew that I was going to be Mahu. Hi, baby, how are you? And I go, hi, Auntie. And I just sit there, and so, I remember Auntie Kim, Auntie Andrea, so all these amazing women then, so I was just listen to their stories, and so it helped me. And then one day, my mom said, okay, go, Auntie Andrea, go cut your hair, because she had to drop me off. She went, and so she didn't cut my hair. And she said, baby, we're gonna turn you out. I said, okay, Auntie. And then she did. And then when I went home, my mom was furious.
How old were you at the time?
I was 11 years old.
Wow. And they full on did you up?
Not my makeup, just my hair. Just gave me that. She knew that I had short hair, so she gave me short hair, but it was too feminine. My mom was like, "Hello, Andrea, what the hell you did to my son?" And I said, "Mom, I love it." No, and I cried. I said, "Please don't." And I said, "No, cut it right now." Andrea was arguing with my mom. Like, you don't know, she's going to be one of us. And my mom said, shut up, don't talk to her. And then ever since that day, I knew, I was like, So I just shut up because I knew my mom then wasn't accepting, so I hid it for a long time.
So how difficult was that? And we hear about it all the time. People are like, oh, I got to hide it, I can't. But how difficult is that? Because that's to hide what you are.
To me, so to me, I think it was a little difficult, only because, like, for me, I thought my mom, especially my mom, I thought my mom would be very more accepting, because my mom had Mahu friends, we had Mahu cousins, you know, and stuff like that. But when it came out to her, I guess it hits hard when that's your child, yeah? So that's what it actually happened, you know, that's your child, now my mom has to deal with it. My mom wasn't able to deal with it too much, because, you know, I'm very me, I'm just nonchalant, just slam it in her face. Oh, I want to be this, I want to do that, I want to be this, you know? Yeah, you know, but then I get it. I understand why my mom went through her little period in time, you know, to have that acceptance, only because, you know, it hit home because it's her own child now. Yeah. Now it's just not her Mahu friends or my cousin, you know. Now it's directly to her child.
Did it get to a point, hiding wise, was it you just never wanted to leave the house, or you just?
I just sheltered. I just stayed with my friends, and so some of my friends knew. And honestly, when I did come out, I actually came out when I was living with my Hanai family, because they was the one that really, everyone knew I wanted to be one girl, but I was just, because I wanted to be that golden child for my parents, I didn't want to disappoint them or make them feel bad or anything like that. I hid what I really wanted to be.
It's such a cultural concept, because you don't want to make the family shame, but you want to be you. Right. We're talking Mahu culture. We're going deep, right here, culturized. So we're talking about that. We always hear, you know, I gotta hide it, and you were saying that it's hard because you're kind of stuck in this predicament, which is a cultural thing, right? There's the family. You don't want to make them shame, but you want to be you. At one point, do you just say, F it, or you just, I gotta do this, I gotta come out? So speaking of coming out,
so I think for me it's because I wasn't living with my parents. You know, it was my way of, you know, because my Hanai family was so accepting and said, come on, just do it if this is what you want. And so I had my sibling, my birth sibling, she did my makeup, and, you know, and then so I said, my 21st birthday, I'm coming out, I'm gonna do da-da-da-da. And then so happened my parents came to that same party, and I was shocked. And, you know, and then it just came down to the point, you know, they just was afraid for me, and they didn't know how to, keep me safe. So that the only thing that they could do was tell me, not tell me, but they would just brush it. They didn't want to, they didn't want to hear it, or, you know, but they knew. Yeah. They knew, so, but it's because they didn't know how to support me or make me feel safe or protect me.
Totally makes sense. How old were you when you came out?
I think it was my 18th birthday. So what had happened was, I told my mom, you know, it's going to be my 18th birthday. Can you rent me a hotel room? You know, all that. And then she kind of had suspicion that, you know, it was going to turn out to be not what it was supposed to be. You know, so I told her, oh, yeah, the high school girls is going to be there. I mean, you know, my girls from high school and stuff. And so she rented the room and everything. But, of course, none of my high school girls was there. All my Mahu young girls was there. We was all getting ready to go out because it was Leikia's 18th birthday, right? So we all getting ready. And my mom actually bought me this whole male attire for my 18th birthday, like ensemble, down, all the way to the shoes. She said, oh, here, this is for your 18th birthday. You wear this tonight when you go out. My friend who was with me, who does not dress up in drags, I put him in that outfit.
So you were going to come out in drag?
I was coming out in drags that night for my 18th birthday, and then we hear this at the door, and it's my mother. My friend went to look into people, and she was like, oh my God, Leikia, your mom is outside. I was like, what? Oh my God, take this off. They was like, girl, it's too late. It's too late. I was like, no, I got to hide from my mom. They was like, girl, it's too late. Just bring your mom in and explain to your mom who you really are. You know, and so that's actually how it happened. She came in, she looked at me crying. Then she's looking at my friend Chelsea Akamu, crying because he's wearing the boy clothes where I'm supposed to be in the boy clothes. You know,
she was more overwhelmed.
Oh, she was just overwhelmed. But then we had this talk, you know, and she held me and she told me, you know, it's going to be a rough life. It's not going to be an easy life for you if this is what you want to live. You know.
So that's what it is. It's more of a. It's not of that they don't accept it. It's more they fear to protect you.
Yes, because they fear society of how society is going to take us. You know, especially because we're young queens. You know, as young queens, we think we all and bags of chips and things like that.
And of course, the family just now wants to lick everybody. Right. Anybody who looks at you sideways.
Right. But my mom was like, I think my mom was more with her. What is your auntie gonna say? What is your uncle gonna say?
Again, the family thing,
that
right?
hit her, but her siblings, yeah. What are they gonna say? And you know me, what are they gonna say? I said, let's talk about your sister who used to put lip gloss on me before I used to go to church. I said, what are they gonna tell you? Yeah. You know, and like the bottom line is in my household. They all knew I was going to be a girl from when I was young, but they kind of hid it. You know, they kind of looked beyond that. You know, they would always go, "Oh, nah, he's going to be more masculine when he gets older," but it never happened.
Wow, from a native and ethnic standpoint, Maddie, what is your ethnic background?
Samoan.
I'm Hawaiian Portuguese.
Mm-hmm. Being a Samoan, was it more difficult? Or was it more accepting? Within the Samoan culture?
Well, so let me just.
I know it's a weird question.
Yeah,
right?
No, it's not a weird question. It's just that I wasn't raised the Samoan way. Was raised more of the Western, Western culture. So my mom kind of didn't put that on us. So, but if she did, I think it would have been more harder because of how people were back then. You know, they're not as educated as they are now, and there's more information now than there was before. So, you know, it was harder. So, yeah, especially my uncles. I hated being with my Samoan uncles because they're too rough.
So we're talking Mahu culture and of course how it intertwines with our native and ethnic culture and acceptance and all these things. If you want to join more, check out Culturised.com. If you're viewing us on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, comment down below. We're going deep in Mahu culture right here on Culturised. Mahu culture, native and ethnic culture, being someone we talked about how you hated hanging out with your uncles.
Yeah, I think because they knew because I was soft, they wanted to rough me up, and
so that was their way of
trying to toughen me up, and it just didn't work. I'm like, I need to go back in the house. I don't do this. I
gotta be husky coconuts right now.
Yeah. So
was it the same for you, ethnically wise, Hawaiian, Portuguese? Puerto Rican.
No, Hawaiian Portuguese.
Hawaiian Portuguese.
I love Puerto Rican food, yeah.
Was there some culture within that as they seen you?
You know, I think just for culture-wise, you know, my mom, she accepted, you know, being her Hawaiian Portuguese. My dad being Hawaiian Portuguese too. But I think for me, it was because of the masculinity of my dad, you know, I think that's the one that when I told my mom, I said, let's hide it from dad. I said, I don't want dad to know because I know he's that masculinity man, you know. I'm like, no, I don't want him to know. So, you know, we went around to all the family members, literally. My mom took me around to a family member. Go tell your auntie. Go tell your uncle.
What?
No, it was very like that. It was very, my mother said, okay, you know, we wanted to have a meeting. Okay, now tell your auntie, explain to your auntie.
It was like if you can dance hula, go hula for your auntie.
So
go to auntie your mahu.
But my mom, she called one of her sisters from Hilo, my auntie Pua, and you know she explained to her everything, and my auntie was like, well, if your brother and your sister on the other end no accept your child, then something wrong with them, you know, and all of that. So she was like the one, opened her wings, came to me, flew to Honolulu, and you know she was like, so what you got to tell me? You got to tell me something, huh? I'm like, what I got to tell you?
Wow.
So what kind of lifestyle are you living?
Wow.
You know, so it was very that, you know, and my auntie, she still supports me. Till this day, she is one of the biggest supporters.
You know, what's funny is how they talk to you. They know that you want to be Mahu, but they're trying to make it to what you're gonna experience outside of that, like being what you gonna be and how you're gonna respond.
You know, and my mom, and even like with my mom's brother, you know, that was another one that I was kind of like, ooh, you know, I don't want to go down there, you know, explain to him, but they already knew. You know, they just waited for me to come and tell them.
Was that weird? Was it because, like Maddie, you were saying, at the salon they knew. You knew something was different, but you didn't exactly know. Was it weird that everybody else knew before you did, or what is that like? Like when they told your mom, girl, no worry, right? Was it less of a weight?
For me, I felt like that was my safe place. So, yeah, I felt very comfortable with them, and they're the ones that actually, one of the ones that really made me open my eyes to what you were feeling. What I think this is who I am, and
So as you get to the point where you know you're Mahu, so I think about it, there's stages, right? You know something's different about you, and then you come out as Mahu. And then there's the next decision, right? Do you want to just stay male and Mahu, and you both said you felt like a woman.
Oh, yes. From young kid time, I felt like a girl.
When did that, like, what is that transition like? Was it harder than coming out, or was it just, that's just right into it?
I think it was right into it because, like I said, family members, they were all just waiting verbally out of me, not out of their kids, out of my cousin. Oh, what you talking about? Yeah, you Mahu. And, I'm like, excuse you, I never come out saying nothing yet. But then they already knew, so it actually just made it more easier.
Because your first time dressing in drag was when you came out, 18, you said?
And 18 years old.
For you?
Mine says 21.
When you were also in drag as well?
I went
for
straight
your party. Wow.
This is when I said I wanted to be a woman. Honestly, the word Mahu, I hated that word because it was not like I said, we know more now.
Yes.
I didn't know back then. I didn't know Mahu. I just knew I didn't want to be a boy anymore. I want to be a girl, and this is my truth. This is what I want to be.
With that said, that's what we're doing right now. We're talking Mahu culture with my two favorites, Leikia and Maddie. Thanks for joining us. If you're watching on Culturised.com, YouTube, subscribe. You got the extended version coming up, so go check it out. Thank you for joining us. It's Culturized. Hey, what's going on? Thank you for joining me, Makani, and Culturized. We're talking Mahu culture. Not necessarily the ethnic and the native side of it, but just general Mahu culture. We've got Leikia Williams Maddalynn Ashton, Maddie and Lily. That's what I call them. So we're talking about when you folks came out, when you went into drag. Here's something that surprises me. Not a lot of people even understand the acronym of the LgbtQ. Explain that. Let's start with the L. L is for.
L is for the way you look at me.
Mahu Sesame Street.
Okay, so those are Western terminology. So this is where we put in different categories or labels. So L is for lesbian. What is the other one?
LG.
G is for our gay brothers and sisters as well. B is for bisexual individuals who are curious or enjoy the company of men and female.
T.
On transgender individuals, trans men, trans women. But this is our identity. This those LGB and all of that, that's their sexuality. This is our identity. So we don't like to try and put us in that same category, but we're always put into that. So
and I like that you said that it's a Western thought. It's a Western thought to categorize people. And which is always weird to me, because within, of course, Polynesian culture, you're Mahu, right?
Hey, isn't it LgbtQ?
Oh yeah, what's the Q for?
No. Q is for queer. So
we kind of forget that before they go.
Do they get mad if they get left out?
No, it's not that. It's that we don't want to leave them out. You know what I mean? We don't want anybody left behind.
So queer is what now?
So queer was a term to
it was derogative before, right?
It was a negative word, but now there's individuals that want to reclaim that word, just like Mahu. Right. They want to reclaim that word and turn it into something positive. So you have individuals that identify as being queer. So we respect them.
Wow. And here's something I find interesting. Sometimes even within that community and that culture, sometimes you guys don't like each other.
I think it's like that human race wise, right?
Everybody and so they take that into it, so it doesn't change. It's just you don't like somebody, you don't like somebody. It's I forget where I was one day, and somebody invited me to a lesbian party, but the so now that even with the lesbians, there's different ones, right? I've heard the term lipstick lesbian and the bull dykes.
Right. And then you get the femmes that, you know, the ones that, what is that? The ones that like to hang around with all the mahus. They have a label too. Don't go there.
Are you serious? So it was weird because I was invited to one, but then the lipstick lesbians, no, you don't want to go. I'm like, why? I was like, oh, I'm gonna like them. What? Wait, what? So I was confused. But you were raised by a Hanai family, right? And so those of you who don't know Hanai, the Western term would be adopt, but it's to us it's even more than that. But with that family, that's one of the main things I love about the Mahu culture is there's this familial matriarchal system that you folks have, right? Because I remember first meeting you there. Oh, this is Lily, the Queen Mother. Of what? I was like, of, and then as I go, so when did that start? So you had your Hanai family, they were accepting. How did that whole matriarchal system start, or was that just something that you just you're in the apartment, Nu'uanu, so the Glades, they became your Queen Mother?
Yeah, right. It's his family. They became my family. I actually, so fast forward now, I would say out of everyone that was living in that household, I think there is now 2 survivors still yet going. Wow. You know, 2 of my our kupunas, our elderly mahuahinis, you know. And when I came out in drag, I became a woman. So within that time of being 18, traveling, climbing up the age, I would run into different ladies that used to live at the house. So when they would see me, you know, I'm looking at them like, oh my God, that's them, you know. And these are actually ladies that I wanted to see because I wanted them to see who I am now, you know. They already kind of had a clue what I wanted to be, you know. And it was so funny because I tell you, every one of them that I walked up to, they either slapped me, gave me one pinch, and the first thing out of their mouth is, what your father said.
Wow.
And my father is the most loving man. Wow. I mean, when I came out, he was just so acceptance, you know, and a lot of people, like a lot of them was like, your dad? Because he was such this macho man, you know, and just like, wow, your father, your dad. I go, my mother was the one who had all these little problems, emotion, because you know the baby, I'm her child, the baby. Oh my God, the baby is no longer a boy; she wants to be a girl, you know.
So when do you become a queen mother? When do you?
Oh gosh, I became a queen mother way later in my life, and the queen mother role is basically someone in our community who kind of you look up to,
right? You
know, and you admire, you know, and my person that I've always admired, rest her soul, her name is Kaui Famuina, and she passed away, but meeting her, the reason why I clinged onto her, wanted her as a queen mother was when I met her, I didn't know that she was Mahu. I thought she was one of those girls that just hangs around with all the gay boys and the Mahus, you know. Wow. Yeah, because she never made herself loud.
I was just,
you know, it was never flamboyant.
Yes.
It was always a woman. It was always a lady.
I remember she was the sophisticated, carried herself like and like wow.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. But you know, it's her is the one that I clinged on to. So basically, it's someone in your community that you look up to. So I clinged on to her. I wanted to be like her. I wanted to act like her. I wanted to look like her.
So did she say you're gonna be my daughter?
Yes, she did.
Wow.
Like she did literally, that to us,
yes.
Everybody.
Like as soon as she met me, it's so funny. We met in Fusions Waikiki, where I don't know if everybody remember Fusions, but that's where everybody used to come out.
They do.
But so I met her in Fusions, and it was so funny because I just thought that it was a Hawaiian girl. She grabbed me by my hand and she was like, "Come to the bathroom with me." You know, I was like, "What?" I said, I'm having a good time out here. You want me to stop and go? She's like, yes, come to the bathroom with me. So, you know, she's in the bathroom and she uses the bathroom and she's inside the mirror and she's putting on her makeup and, you know, she's just really not makeup, just touching up. And she looked at me and she's like, so you want to be like me, don't you? And I'm like, not a lesbian. No, I don't. Because that's what I thought she was. I was like, no, I don't. And
Just
she
for you
was
to say, I don't want to be a lesbian.
no, I was like, because that's actually what I thought. I was like, girl, no, you think I want to be a lesbian? No. But she was like, honey, what are you talking about? She goes, honey, I am the realest that you're ever going to get. I am a beautiful boy. Don't you know who I am? And from in the bathroom, I'm like in awe, like, there was right, because I heard talk that Kawi was a Mahu, but I was like, no way, Kawi is not a Mahu. You know, I was just talk in the club, like, but when she verified that to me, it was like that night I was even with my girlfriend Roxanne, my other queen sister. I was like, girl, Kawi is a Mahu, girl. Oh, girl, girl, we are gonna go around with her, and she's like, come on. Not even asking her. She's like, daughter, come here, daughter. Wow. Daughter, come over here. Daughter, you have a car. I'm like, yeah, okay, daughter, we gotta go pick up your grandmother. I'm like, what?
Did she do the same thing with you? Just like, hey, you.
I was part of what was that? What was it called? It was some program that they had at Y Night Gym, and so I played volleyball. And then she just came in there in the circle, and then she looked at me and said like, hi, daughter. And I'm like, I was like, who's this? I'm like, I said, oh, you don't know who I am, but you're my daughter. And I was like, I felt like I had to run away, so I ran away. But then a few months later, she showed up with her at my house. Wow. And she's like,
we showed up at the karaoke bar you used to run the karaoke at.
Oh, yeah. But they took me on my first excursion. Like, that was the first time I ever hung with other transgender women. So,
do you think it's this nurturing that they have, and is this protection that your biological family can't or is trying, but you think that's why they do it, or it's?
I think it's because, you know, our parents support us as much as they can, but because they're not going through, they're not trans. They don't know what it's like to be trans, but they try their best. But you know, but being around our sisters, our queen mother, she really helped us. You know, how to get onto hormone therapy, how to be a woman, you know. She taught me
all these things, you know, all these woman things. No, I'm serious. Everything was woman-like. It was always to be a woman, not a drag queen.
Right.
And honestly,
okay, really quick, explain the difference, drag queen and woman, because not a lot of people know. Well, because some like to dress as, right? Is that a thing, or you? And then there's the ones that live and are women, or is that
that live our trans lives? Yeah. So we're basically, even if we live our lives as women, we know that we're living our trans lives. You know.
Because I love the fact that she's teaching. It's like the Hawaiian concept of Vaimakalehua, right? We had that hale to teach girls how to be women. And that's what she did for you folks.
Yeah.
Grooming,
yes.
Everything from head to toe.
Everything,
and letting us know that we're not alone.
Yes.
You know,
it was very nurturing. It was a very nurturing, like even to the part where she even told me, "Your mom and dad gonna call you she. I gonna call your house every time and ask for your girl name. And is she home? Oh no, he not home. Is she? Oh, so she's not home." She would do that. She would call our house. She would go over to my house and literally make my mom them know that that's a she, not a he. Wow. You know, and that I would be like, please don't do that. And she goes like, no. You're a girl, and you cannot be. They cannot. If they're gonna accept you one day, but I'm gonna make them accept you, girl. Right. You know, it was very like that.
Wow, that's pretty. So. The emotional, the mental, the physical side. We're gonna go deep now because everybody has these questions. So from tweezing the eyebrows to putting on lashes to putting on makeup.
Putting on makeup. I thought she was the first person to get an iron before the flat irons came out, and we had to lay on the bed with our head forward, and she would brush our hair out and iron our hair, and she'd go, okay, now you guys look pretty. Now you guys' hair look nice like girls. I'm like, you just used the iron on my head?
No,
did he just use the iron on my hair?
What comes first? We talk now. That's the physical part. What hormones?
Yes.
Then you guys start taking hormones, right? And this is the question everybody. Remember when we went to Chicago and I was like, Lily, I'm going to ask you everything. Fish tuck. Well,
a lot of it, it's more than fish. Like it's you want to be a lady. You're gonna make sure that every part of your body is going to look like a lady. You know what I mean? And even so I'm gonna use swimsuit. For an example, so when you're gonna make sure that when you go in the swimsuit, that you look like a lady from hair to toe, you know, and like I said, and all in between. You know, you have to make sure that you are, and that's part of being a queen. That's part of being in our transsexual world. You know, of. Especially even in entertaining, the entertainment wise, you know, you want to make sure that it's like I said, if you're in a swimsuit, you want to make sure that you are ladylike all the way. You know, when they look at you, they're gonna look at you, and you're gonna look like a lady. You know?
Was it hard to make the decision to put vayu, to put breasts? Is that a hard decision for some?
I think it's just if you have the money.
Oh, no way. Wow.
Well, no. Some of them.
So honestly, I'm not comfortable talking about what we do as transgender women, because this is about us, and I don't want people to be talking or, you know, take their main points from taking away is what we did or what surgeries or what we're doing. It's really about who we are as transgender women.
Like
what we are doing right now is we want to make sure our transgender women continue to have their transgender health care, because it's being questioned, and they're trying to make changes.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be rude. Or
no, I know what
like
you're
that.
saying, because that's what it's transitioning into this. Because of that, you guys are in this program that is the Kwana Project.
Yeah, Kwana Project. Yeah.
Explain that.
So Kwana Project is a transgender program that is part of Hawaii Health and Harm Reduction Center. I'm the project manager, and Leikia is one of the patient navigators. So Kwana means older sibling to a younger sibling, in care of making sure that they reach their goals, which is perfect because there's only like 4 of us at this in this program. We can't do it all. So it's important that we help build leaders. We help them to become advocates for themselves, advocates for their trans brothers and sisters, because that's what it's about, you know?
And this is the first time like a project like this, right? So I like how we started from the beginning of this, and everything that you folks went through growing up, in your teenage life, in your adult life, in now, all these things we talked about, from physical to mental to emotional to spiritual, all culminates to this project. So it's anybody and everybody in this culture, and they can just, for support, for everything.
Yeah, so we do social services. So if they're needing assistance with healthcare or a doctor, or if they're having issues with their lawyer, then we guide them into the right places, because we want to make sure that wherever they're going, they're getting the proper services. Because it wasn't like that.
Exactly. Because you guys had.
Yeah, it wasn't. When I was going for healthcare in my 90s, just asking them for call me by the name that I want to be addressed, it was an issue. Oh no, we need to call you by this name. We're leaving the facility. I said, screw this, I don't want your services. Wow. And that prevents us from getting the proper health care and proper services we need. And that's why now our elders today, they're going through so much health issues because of how it was back then. They're getting better. We need them to be more better. And we need to make sure that our trans healthcare is not taken away from us, because it's so important.
That is very important.
By having this trans health care, they can get these surgeries, they can get the mental health that they need, they can get the services they need. But taking this away, some of that's going on right now in legislation here in Hawaii is pissing me off and pissing our community off.
Because they don't see it.
Yeah, they don't see it.
Which is really weird, because it's Hawaii. So as it comes, I don't want to say full circle, because it's continuing to move forward. So mahalo for you folks for coming and sharing, getting deep. Because it does. It just makes sense that now I love. Again, for the theme so far in episodes have been give back, right? And you guys, of everything you went through, you're giving back, and now the new younger queens come up. Now they have a place to go.
Yes.
Now they have a thing to do. So mahalo you guys for coming. If you're watching us, this is the extended version on YouTube. Comment down below, subscribe on YouTube, or check out our website, culturised.com. Leikia Williams, Maddalynn Ashton. Mahalo, Culturised.